So the first proposal, and this is really a place where you get to help set the tone for how your relationship with that faculty member is going to continue throughout that person's career. Um, this is where I think they will be most receptive to following guidelines and getting things done. It's a critical thing for both of you.
So, where are they starting from? I think is the key question to ask yourself. And hopefully, from that first meeting that you've had with them, you understand where they're coming from and how far along in their kind of career path they are. I've worked with new faculty at institutions that were coming from another institution in another faculty position. And we've had people that are coming into their first faculty position, but they've done multiple postdocs. Or I've also worked with faculty at smaller institutions where they're coming straight from their graduate training. So these individuals can have a lot of varied experiences with grants. Personally, I finished grad school, roughly 10 years ago now, and there was nothing in that training for grants in my program. There was nothing about writing a grant. There was nothing about how to read a announcement and what are the components of one. So that would have been very hard for me to transition straight from a graduate school program into a new faculty position because I would have had none of that information given to me in my training. And so you may have faculty that's their starting point. Whereas other faculty, I had colleagues that maybe went to work in another lab and gained more experience, and the PI that they were working for was let them be very integrated in that process, and they could understand start to finish of a grant, and they were really heavily involved in putting one together. So really getting a good sense from that first meeting going into this first proposal is where are they starting from and how much background information do they need. So these are a couple key questions that might help you in that first meeting for the proposal is, have they written one alone before? Have they gone through the process, or were they merely providing sections of text for their PI to add into a grant? So how much experience do they have working alone on a proposal? Have they worked in or accessed any of the submission system, and do they have the needed accounts? I just put a proposal in with a team last week with actually a very experienced PI, but he'd never applied to NSF. And so he didn't have an NSF ID set up. And he's been applying to NIH for probably 20 years. And we didn't know until maybe a week before that, he didn't have his NSF ID. He'd never worked with NSF. So making sure that you know and you can guide them to those resources and what they need to do to get set up in the appropriate systems in order to submit the proposal. And then one of the other things I wanted to highlight is, do they know where to find proposal writing resources at your institution? And depending on the size of your institution, this can vary quite greatly. But there should be, and there probably is, someone or some unit on campus that is working in either research development or research writing, helping them formulate ideas and create a narrative and a good story for their grant proposal. So if you have resources like that at your institution, I would highly suggest pointing them in that direction, and well ahead of time, right? We talk about deadlines a lot in terms of getting the budget done and getting things routed, but especially for new investigators starting to write, we want them thinking about and starting to draft that text ideally months ahead of when that deadline is, to really make it a compelling case for funding. So if there are proposal writing resources at your institution, making sure you're sharing and encourage them to use those.